And there are reports circulating just in the last little while that the Melbourne Demons have made a big change, reportedly deciding to relieve coach Simon Goodwin of his tenure in charge of the club. Our own David Zita is following this story for us today. He joins us on the line now. David, reports as we say, but it seems there's some monumental news coming out of the D's today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are too many now. They're growing by the minute, the reports, to suggest that it isn't true, that Simon Goodwin has been sacked as the coach of the Melbourne Football Club. A massive decision, considering they are in a bit of a handover period at the moment in terms of a CEO and a president, both in interim roles, with their incoming president, CEO rather, Paul Guerra, to come in later this year. So the fact that this decision has been made without him officially starting is significant, and certainly has taken a few by surprise in terms of the timeline of this. There was not really an indication that this would be happening as soon as it has. There was certainly going to be some discussions about what 2026 and beyond looks like for Simon Goodwin. He is contracted for next season, so the D's are going to have to pay him out somewhere around the $1 million mark for his final year of his contract. So that is a significant blow for them in terms of their soft cap and how they're going to have to manage that. But they clearly feel a change is needed, despite the fact that Simon Goodwin took them to that drought-breaking Premiership during COVID. They haven't been able to perform in finals since then, and they have been struggling again and not a finals contender this season, despite having the likes of Max Gawn, Christian Petrarca and Clayton Oliver amongst their best players. So it is a big call, perhaps the timeline surprising. Some would have predicted that eventually this would come to pass. It's just the nature of the timing that has surprised us all. Gary Lyon, a Melbourne great, who of course presented the Premiership Cup to Simon Goodwin a few years ago. He was on radio earlier this morning. He says he's absolutely shocked by the fact that this decision has been made without the new CEO in place and without the new president coming into power. So it is a massive decision that sent shockwaves through the AFL world, and I'm sure we'll learn the full fallout from it across the course of the day.
Now, for people wondering why he might be in this situation, I mean, 7-13, the 12th on the AFL ladder currently, but we reported last week that he'd met with power brokers at the club. He'd sold the vision that this was mid-rebuild. Is that pretty much right, do you think, of where this side is at, that what they're getting at the moment is pretty much where they should be?
Well, it's been interesting. So not knowing it, we may have actually attended Fox Sports News Simon Goodwin's last midweek presser last week. So we spoke to him, and he was adamant that, look, they can regenerate pretty quickly. I think clubs are reluctant to use the word rebuild these days because it does mean a period of changeover in terms of player personnel, which then means that you may lose some of your stars, and it also means that maybe it's time for a new driver at the wheel. So Simon Goodwin, it's been more of a retooling and a regeneration of the club, but he's been adamant it can turn quickly for them. He thinks that they can get back on the winners list in the not too distant future. They're not looking to get, well, in his words, they weren't looking to get younger this off-season. They were looking to add a bit more experience and in that 24 to 28 bracket of their age department to try and just bolster their side a bit more. They've got a fair few young players they've got through the draft in recent seasons. They've got that veteran talent there, as we said, that the big three with Gawn, Petrarca and Oliver. It really is just a matter of how quickly they can get those players back to their best. But now that Simon Goodwin is going out the door, it really does throw the door open to a significant change from the player ranks, and also, or maybe some players there are more likely to stay there than they would have otherwise been. It's been everything's on the table when the coach goes. So that is something we are going to have to watch with interest over the course of not just the next few weeks as the D season comes to a close, but also across the trade period, because I would imagine clubs will be lining up to try and poach some of their experienced stars now that the coach is out on the way out.